Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. It's late again, yes I know. I did actually record it on Wednesday or Tuesday. Went to put it up yesterday but there was no sound, so I've had to re-record it again today. This is a show where we pick you 3 questions on Twitter. I have my say, then we'll get to the most important thing, which is your say. So let's get straight into this and start with number 1. Billy Bonds is inducted into the Football Hall of Fame very shortly, and rightly so. What other West Ham players would you induct? Now, I've been thinking about, this is obviously a countrywide Hall of Fame, so you have to be something very special to go in. It's not just a West Ham Hall of Fame, it's a countrywide Hall of Fame. Now, although we do look at some of our players with, you know, a little bit of fondness, would they get into the countrywide Hall of Fame? Now, I would make an argument for Paolo Di Canio to go in. Not only did he have a couple of the most memorable moments in Premier League history, obviously the goal against Wimbledon and the sportsmanship versus Everton, but he was a character. He was well loved. He played for some top sides. Probably didn't win as much as he should have. Probably didn't have as many Italy caps as he should have. But he's definitely an important and well-remembered character. Obviously played in Scotland for Celtic as well before going on to Sheffield Wednesday, or a massive club at the time. And then obviously with us. And, you know, one of the most memorable players in the Premier League. So I would make an argument for him. Perhaps Julian Dix, who was a very important player of his generation. But apart from them, you've got to look at some of the players that probably didn't stay with us for too long. The sort of the class of the late 90s, early 2000s, the likes of Michael Carrick, who I think had a brilliant career. The Barcelona manager Pep Guardiola at the time did describe him as probably the best holding midfielder he's ever seen, and that's some statement. And he come through our academy. The likes of Joe Cole went on to have a good career. Maybe not with Joe, because I didn't feel like he fulfilled his whole potential. Rio Ferdinand, who went on to be one of the best centre-halves the world's ever seen. And, of course, the name that I'd like to forget, but you can't deny his achievements in the game, young Frank Lampard Jr., who certainly did become one of the best central midfielders, in the world at the time. So, yeah, there's arguments for them guys to get in there. But I would like to see, personally, Paolo Di Canio. Now, let's have a look what you guys had to say. PBM Marshall 1968 says Devonshire, Brooking, Hurst, Morton, Peters. At Bonzi's God says Alan Devonshire. At Hammers Trev, Steve Potts. He was a very good servant. At Jack Hobson 12, Radoslav Kovac, I'm sure you're joking. At Assad WHU number 27, we've got Dimitri Payet. Possibly not. At Jake Lodeman, got to be Sir Trev surely. I'm sure that he will be in there at some point if he's not already. I haven't even checked who is actually in there. At 97, Mr. Ali G. Di Canio surely has to have a mention. I would even say Collison. I know his career was short, but would have been great for West Ham. At Osin, Brookin. At J220PH, Trevor Brookin, Bobby, but I'm sure he's already in. Alvin Martin and Tony Cotty. Good shouts there, especially with the Alf. At Mark Sherburn, whether dead or alive, all 1966 World Cup winners should feature Wise, Alan Ball and Jack Charlton. For fuck's sake, I don't know what you're saying there, mate, but I agree with you there. All 1966 players should go into there. At Hammer Social, Bobby Moore, Sir Trev Brooking, True Footballing Legends. At G Murphy, Ray Stewart, good shout. Let's take a couple more. At Will Byford, Moore, Hurst, Peters, all deserve to. It's harsh, but I'm sure anyone is worth it. And at Mick Martini, Alan Devonshire. So, yeah, only one that agreed with me that Di Canio should be in there. But I'm sure he will be at some point. Anyway, number 2. Adrian reclaimed his number 1 spot this weekend, but looks set to lead this summer. Who should we replace? Who should we chase to replace him as our number 1? Now, we've had a good run with goalkeepers, really. Ludwig McCloskey was a fabulous goalkeeper for West Ham. Obviously a bit of a cult hero as well. But after that, apart from a little spot where we had Xhaka, Craig Forrest and Bernard Lamar, who were all very good goalkeepers in their right. We chased two England number ones. We had David James, who was a very good goalkeeper in his day, and we also had Rob Green after David James, who again was a fabulous goalkeeper in his day. In between that, Roy Carroll, who's one to forget. But Rob Green, for me, was a fabulous goalkeeper, well deserved to be England number one. And at the time when they were playing for us, they were England's number ones as well. Rob Green, I thought, a little bit harshly treated after the 2010 World Cup, but there was the emergence of Joe Hart. Now, saying that, so we've got a good record of, over the last sort of like 10, 15 years, perhaps looking at the England number one. Now, looking at that, the England number one after this season does look like he's up for grabs. I feel like the goalkeeper is one of the most important positions that you can have on your side. He organises defences, and our defence, let's be fair, has been absolutely shocking. And the two goalkeepers that we've got, they're good, but they're not quite, they're not quite fabulous goalkeepers. They're not quite fantastic goalkeepers. And I feel that a good goalkeeper puts you in good stead. So I think we should be going for Joe Hart, regardless of the money he costs, especially if he's up for grabs. They might be more willing to sell him to us rather than Liverpool or Chelsea or whatever. And talking to Chelsea, I think another goalkeeper, if Hart's really out of the question, I think it's a bit wasted at Chelsea, is Asmir Begovic, very good goalkeeper for Stoke, who we've got this weekend. He was class, really, Asmir Begovic, and I think he's a bit wasted on the bench at Chelsea. Obviously, behind Courtois was a very good goalkeeper as well. He should be another one that we should be targeting for, I think, in the summer. Two very good goalkeepers. Let's have a look what you guys had to say. At Lukey Malden, Joe Hart, having England's number one would be impressive. Got a good record of that, mate. At PBM 1968, we need Premiership experience, us Joe Hart or Jordan Pickford. He's done very well for Sunderland, as he could become available when Sunderland are relegated. At Slavsmere S, Daniel Bentley. At Bonds is God, Joe Hart, if we can get him, need some leadership at the back. At Hammers Trev, Hart without a doubt. At Tomster 36, sorry, Pickford or Hart. Assad WHU, Pickford or Hart. Nick Harve, saying a name that I said already. Asmir Begovic. A Burley 15 says Begovic, Hart or Pickford. They could definitely get one of them, but we'll end up with some 52-year-old Turkish guy on loan with a view to buy. Yeah. At Mr. Ali G 97, I would keep Adrian and sell Randolph. He would be worth some money. I would get Hart or try Butland. At Mats for it, Begovic and Pickford. Sadly, Adrian and Randolph are not good enough and have too many mistakes on them. At Josh Varillis, Pickford is also an ideal transfer target, young and has looked good in a poor team this year, more reliable than Adrian or Randolph. At J2do OPH, either Asmir Begovic or Joe Hart are fairly obvious proven choices for me. I'll take a couple more. One here pulls a name out the hat from the past, really. I thought he was finished. At Panganarif 95, Iker Casillas, playing in Portugal, of course. At TFSH WHUFC, got a feeling Mignolet will be up for grabs. Would be a good signing. I'm not too sure on that. I know some Liverpool boys who would very much challenge that opinion. At NI West Ham, for me it has to be Art. Pickford, a good shout, but we need experience. At Luke Pacey, it's not just a fact Hart is a good goalkeeper, he's a good leader. He is commanding and will shout at everyone. Nobody does that in our team. I'm going to take two more. Let's talk West Ham. Begovic, realistic target, would make financial sense. Barry Senior, Vorm or Begovic. I'm not sure about Vorm. He hasn't been as good as we first thought he would. And one more at SWHU, Pickford, Fabianski or Begovic. Thank you very much for getting involved in that one, boys. Right, number 3. It's a little bit of a difficult one for me, this one to answer. Number 3, should Enner Valencia return this summer, or would a permanent transfer sort all parties? Now, if you'd have asked me this time last year, I'd have said, get rid of him. Absolutely get rid of him. He's low on confidence. He's he doesn't look cut out for the Premier League. Now, Ronald Koeman coming in the summer, and I was shocked, and I was sort of rubbing my hands together that Everton come in and they've taken him on loan. But he seems to be doing well there. A few Everton fans saying he's doing well. He's played well. Seems to have got some confidence back. He obviously does belong to us. And last year, with all the stuff with Payet and just playing really beyond our means, really. We had Moses, of course, as well in the Premier League. I said, yeah, you got to get rid of him. It's not gone too well since. Payet's obviously left. And evidently he's got something in him. I'm not sure what it is, but he's got something in him. He does some brilliant things sometimes. Last year when he scored 4 goals in 2 games, one against Manchester City, the free kick against Bournemouth, a couple of seasons before that, the banger against Hull, his partnership with Sacco, he was really flying at one point. He seems to give us, when he plays up front in a 2, he seems to give us a dynamic that we don't see with the players we've got. Now, when you look at what we've got currently, I definitely would say he was better than Caleri. He's better shout to score some goals. Makes not better movement. I think Caleri makes good movement, but he's got that mobility that goes around. And you look at the other striker, Sacco. He's played 2 games this year. Andy Carroll out again this weekend, and we just don't have anything up front now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something's better than nothing, and unless the chairman and the board go out this summer and really target a front man, we could be left short again. And he's an option. There's something there. Whether it'll click or not, I don't know. And the money they're offering Everton, £12 million now, it recoups the £12 million that we paid for him quite a few seasons ago now, 3 seasons I believe it is. But £12 million now isn't £12 million what we paid for him. It's probably, you've got half the value because of the money that's come into the game. So that's really, half the money that he should be going for, that we bought him for. And I don't believe that just for that, unless they've got big plans to strengthen, which I do believe they do, I don't believe that it's worth it. Do you know what I mean? So let's have a look and see what happens there. But we'll go into your comments now. Let's have a look at your comments, what you said. Slav, he's been poor since he stepped on the glass. Get rid of him. At Luke Malden, he's had too many chances. He's not a 20-goal season striker. He can barely get 5 a season. He's got a strike on him, but it's time to go. At Kingdom of Wham, sell him. Chances are the highest his value will ever be, and we'll never get the most out of him for his own sake. He should leave. I think you forget about China there, Charlie. At Jack in Diet, 1271, I believe a permanent transfer to Everton would be best, unless another club would want him. Playing for West Ham just doesn't suit him. At P. Marshall, PBM 1968, permanent transfer, but we must replace with a better player who looks to start each week. Better investment required next season. At Azam, WHUFC, cashing on him, 11 goals he scored in under 3 seasons. He was bought for 12 million, simply not good enough. At Amos Trev, get rid. At Jack Essex Cable, really does depend if we're going to buy a striker. Valencia is better than the shite loan signings we bring in. Would be better if we don't. I would keep if we don't buy, sorry. At Let's Talk WHU, cash in, have a decent window, and he'd get nowhere near the team anyway. He looked forward now, not back. Same applies to Sacco. At Kevin Hanney, another example of failed recruitment policy. Get rid and buy Lacazette. Sorry, that was last year's bald lie. At WHU Saint, sell him. At Jake Lodeman, keeping him wouldn't benefit us in the slightest. Sell and get as much money as possible. 97 Mr. Ali G, he works hard, but for me, he ain't an out-and-out striker. Bald will sell him and buy no one. I would sell and try pushing the boat out. At West Ham, Josh Fee, 10 goals in 66 West Ham appearances is not what we require. We need someone who can score regularly and have a regular impact up front. I'll take a couple more on this because there was a lot. At Tompkins 112, I can't handle another season like this one. Teams all over the place, players out of position, doesn't play new signings, play one up front. At Den Vincent, sell him. Fair play that he's never moaned about playing time, but it just isn't good enough. I could see Big Sam signing him for Palace. And 2 more. At Tomster, 36, move him on. He will never be a regular goal scorer, average striker at best. And at Zarkby, at Zark MBS. If Snodgrass has a place in the team, why not him? But if we can sign a better player, get rid of him. So, yeah, pretty much across the board, they want rid. But there are a few people there that do share my concerns that he didn't look good enough going forward. But since we've receded, recessed a little bit in playing style and playing quality, he could fit in. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's. What are we doing? Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Midweek Musings. I'm very sorry it's late. I'm very sorry it's Friday. Go and check out the rest of the content from the boys. Scott's doing his previews. There'll be a FIFA preview up today. I'm sure there's an on the social. All the fan cams from tomorrow. Post-match pint will be over the weekend as well. And before I go, I just want to address one thing. Obviously, since I put out this Monday Musings, there's been the whole thing about tax and what's going on. Now, I haven't read too much about it. I'm not too worried about it because as far as I could see, nothing's been said, nothing's been done. There's still investigations going forward. But the reason we haven't commented on it is because I don't know enough, personally. I would say don't panic. Like, you know, these things do happen, especially in football when money's concerned. We may not be as guilty as everyone's making out, or it's first seems. You know, I know we made a joke about it on the Twitter, but that's about as far as we're going to comment on it, really. I know other channels have been talking about it and speculating what might happen, points deductions, transfer embargoes, etc. But until I really know some information, I refuse to comment because otherwise you're just sort of stirring up a pot that really don't need stirring up. I'd like to see the board come out with a statement. The fact that they haven't is a little bit worrying, but we'll give them a chance. You know, they've got their stuff to sort out as well, so I'll give them a chance to come out and do something. But you know, it might end up being nothing, and we're all worrying about nothing. But obviously, it's a very worrying thing when you see the tax man raiding your club and computers. And I've been told computers and phones haven't been taken, which leads me to suggest that maybe it's not us. Maybe it's something we was involved in a transfer. Maybe someone in France, because I know it's a lot of French clubs that are involved, especially the Marseille deals. Dimitri Payet deals, I believe, is one of the main focuses. The fact that they haven't taken any of our computers or phones or anything like that, or reported to, seems to suggest that they're just looking for information as regards to, you know, the transfer deal. But let's wait and see without panicking. Don't panic yet. But if obviously something does come to light, we will be talking about. We'll talk about it a little bit on post-match pint as well. I'm sure the other boys will say the same thing. But you know, as far as you know, transfer embargoes and speculating on you know, getting relegated and all that, I won't worry too just yet. Anyway, thank you very much. As I said, one thing left to say: come on, you Irons.